This
All
is what
right,
I've been
welcome back to
doing.
Almost Above Average, the podcast where honest conversations lead to real growth. I am your host, Chris McIntyre, and today we're diving deep into a space that challenges all of us, being vulnerable, especially when co-parenting takes a difficult turn. We know that
Right.
opening up isn't always easy, and when the relationship with a co-parent becomes strained, the impact can ripple through every part of your life, emotionally, spiritually, and practically. How do we stay open and authentic in the face of conflict? Is there a way to heal or find peace when co-parenting feels impossible? Joining me today is Chaplain Anthony James, a guide for so many who have faced life's tough questions and moments. Chaplain James, I'd like to start with this. When co-parenting goes bad, how can vulnerability help us move forward?
Man, well, first of all, appreciate you having me on tonight, this evening, man. It's really a topic that a lot of people stay away from because co-parenting, especially when there's breakups and split ups and stuff like that, sometimes the parenting is not so good. And the kids seem to take sides when it's like that. You know what I mean? Most of the kids go for the mother rather than the father because most of the time if there's a split up, most times the kids are with the mother
Is that
and
what you
not the
think that is?
father.
That kids always
Yes,
typically in America, they typically end up with the mother. Why? Why?
for sure. That's because that's just the way it is. And because most men, really, if you're a real man, you don't want to take the kids from the mom. You don't want to
Right.
split that up.
As
Because
a man, you
you
don't want to
already
do
made.
that either.
Right. Because that's a responsible thing because now it's already a situation. You're just adding insult to injury. It's already injured that you split up already.
Right.
So now you're adding insult to now you want to take the kids away. And then you got to be careful. The kids came from the mom. Even
Right.
though we as the sperms, if it wasn't for us, it wouldn't be a child. But because of the relationship that they had while they was in the womb, you can't just snatch that away. You know what I mean? And so it's hard, man, because I've been through there. I've been with women with children. I have several women with kids. And so every time we split up, there was always a problem because of the miscommunication. If the communication is not good between me and the mother, the kids are going to feel that. And that's what we're talking about. Other than just the mother and the father, what about the children in the middle? You know what I
Right.
mean? Because we're talking about co-parenting.
Right.
Co-parenting is two people supposed to still, if you break up, you're still supposed to have responsibility enough to be able to take care of the child, raise a child with each other and help each other out. And a lot of times
That
it doesn't
sounds
work
good.
like that because it's
That
always a
sounds good.
one-sided
Sounds real
situation,
good.
especially when the courts get involved.
Right. It sounds ideal. Like, yeah, we should all co-parent with our baby mamas or our baby daddies or
Right.
whatever. But in actual practice, it gets really complicated. I'm going through it right now. I would say that our styles are very similar. So as far as the kids being raised, going through this right now, they're going to be okay. My kids, anyway. But that's not the same for
Right.
every kid out here. Like every situation is
No.
different. And how do you be vulnerable as co-parents in an effective way to raise children when you're not together?
Well, without vulnerability, there's no such thing as love. Because we can say we love the children, we love whatever, but if you're not vulnerable, then love is out of the picture. Because you have to be vulnerable to love. You know what I mean? You have to let your guards down. You have to submit unto the child, meaning that you understand what the child is going through. Because you can really say, I don't care. I don't have to do anything. We're not together anymore. Don't tell me what to do. Don't tell me when to pick them up, how to pick them up.
Right.
Don't tell me how to spend my money with them. You see what I'm saying? But being vulnerable is saying, you know what? I understand. I know that because I'm going to tell you like this, how God looks at it, if we can go there. How God looks at it, when Adam and Eve was in the garden, right? Eve supposedly had ate from the tree of life, right? He didn't say anything to Eve. He said, Adam, where are you? So even in the split up with the breakup of the man and the woman, God is looking at the head, the man. He's saying, you're responsible. Something went wrong. How couldn't you? Why did you fall? Why did you break? You know what I mean?
How come you weren't taking care of your responsibilities and making sure that Eve didn't eat the apple?
Right. And then in this term,
That's
you with the woman, okay.
Interesting.
Right. And you broke up. So now God is not really looking at the woman for the breakup.
Mm-hmm.
He's looking at the man. He's saying, what happened?
Right.
What happened? You didn't see this coming? Were you leading by example or was she leading?
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
He let his
Because
guard down.
sometimes, right, because in most families, in most situations, I know a lot of times the woman on the inside, man, everybody has a part to play. But if you're not leading and you're always sending a child to the mother to get from the mom, then what is your responsibility? You know what I'm saying? And so a lot of times it breaks, and the man's like, oh, okay, whatever. I'm going to do me, you do you. But guess who suffers from that?
The kids.
Not just the child, the whole family. The whole family. And so that's just the way I am. I've been separated from women that have my children, and man, it's been nasty, man.
Yeah.
It's been nasty. Oh, they want to take you to court. They want to do everything to you. They want to keep the children from you. And really, verbally, they don't even have to say nothing bad about you. They can just cry and show emotions to the children. Guess what the kids are going to feel? They're going to say, Daddy did something wrong to mommy. Dad, you're out of control, Dad, because mommy's crying. She's upset at you, so now we're upset at you. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, and that becomes a learned behavior that they take into their adulthood too. But there's a right and a wrong way. Like when you said that you went through it, going to court and all that stuff, I have also. And during that time, I kind of felt the same. Like I was blaming her. I didn't take any responsibility during that time. It was very easy to look outside myself and blame everyone else for everything that was going wrong in my life. But during that time, now that I have some sobriety and some clarity and I look back at it, I can confidently own my mistakes in that and kind of take away the teeth that I used to throw at her back in the day, because I have to own some of that too. It takes two to tango. You know what I mean? Like,
for sure.
Yeah. When I think about it, it was definitely a two people thing,
Right. And it can also be a double-edged sword. You know what I mean? Because the kids are going to lean towards the mom. I don't care what you do, how much you do for them, how much you love on them. When they see the mother in trouble or in distress, automatically they're going to lean towards the mother, towards the women. And I don't have any problem with that. So me, as the man, as the father, even though I had to go to court and there was a bunch of stuff going on, I still remained responsible. I still took care of my responsibilities. I always used to tell my kids, I may have left the house, but I didn't leave your life. You know what I mean? And so, but that's tough though, because sometimes you want to be around your kids and you really can't when you want to. And so that's another situation.
And so thing with the children too, like when you go from I'm just going to speak from experience right here. When you go from a house where you all live together, you kind of absorb the child's responsibilities. Like, okay, you take this one, you take that one, you pick that one up, you do that kind of stuff.
Right.
Once that is broken apart, it becomes really easy. Like I live in a completely different place. It doesn't make sense for me to drive there, pick you up, and continue doing the same things I was responsible for. So after the separation, the responsibilities, they have to change. Like sacrifices do have to be made because one person out of a relationship has to figure something out. One person usually.
Right. And so that's why I named it being vulnerable. You have to be vulnerable when things like this is happening, because I know a lot of men that don't deal with their kids now because of the breakup, because of the fighting with the mom and the disagreements that's being had. And some men are like, you know what? The heck with this, man. I'm not going to stress out. If I got to chase you down to be around my children, then you know what? You do what you got to do with them. And then that's a kind of a messed up mindset when you turn into something. And I can see that.
No, I understood that too recently, like thinking I can get inside the head of a man that walks out on his family and never talks to him again. Not that I want to do that and never would, but I can understand it from a woman. Like some of these women out here, they can put you through some paces. It's just like, yo, it is bad for my health to be with my family right now because she makes it horrible. I'm not saying I went through that, but I've seen situations like that.
Oh yeah. And stress is real, man. And when you're going through things in life, man, anybody's not as strong as another individual. You know what I mean? Because it hurts.
Yeah.
And and when you're talking about being vulnerable, man, that means humbling yourself. Now, how you humble yourself when you can't see your children, when you have a restraining order against you, or the courts give you ample time, a certain amount of time to deal with your kids based on what the woman is saying. You
Right.
see what I'm saying? You have to be a humble person, and to be vulnerable, to say, you know what, I'll deal with it because I'm not going to allow her to make me change the way I feel about my children, to change my actions toward my children. But I've been there too, where I was like, man, the heck with them, man.
Yeah.
And it's like almost the kids are listening to the mother. Like, you know what I do for you. So now you're going to take sides with your mom. See, it comes that too now.
Right.
It comes out too. So that's what I say, being vulnerable. You have to be vulnerable and not think about yourself and be selfish and say, you know what? I'm feeling this over here, so y'all going to feel something too. I don't think
Yeah,
that's right.
there's an epidemic of men not being vulnerable right now. And I say that because not recent, maybe it was like 6 months ago or so, we had a friend from high school commit suicide, and it kind of started this thing on the podcast. Like, we started doing episodes on it, and I have friends on it. Trying to talk about men's issues to help them. And being vulnerable is the key to how I see healing yourself. If you're suffering from trauma, everyone does. Everyone has childhood trauma.
For sure.
We all have to find a way to
For
deal with
sure.
it. A lot of us choose drugs and alcohol, or women, or food, or, but we all
Right.
have to deal with it in one way or another. Getting men, at least at my age, 42 years old, getting the guys that I know around my age, and we're trying to create a conversation about being vulnerable, but it's impossible to be vulnerable as a man, it seems like we can't do it.
And you can do it, but you can do, well, it's a mindset.
I can do
It's
it,
a mindset.
but it just,
Yeah.
like, the people around me, it seems so foreign and hard.
But this is why we're on here. So we're letting people know that it can be done.
Right.
You're going to go through, you're going to go through ups and downs and mental gymnastics. You're going to go through hurts. But see, one thing what keeps me is my spirituality. I don't pick it up and put it down. I don't pick it up and put it down. I stay with it. Whatever happens, sunshine or rain, you understand? And that keeps me grounded. You have to be grounded dealing with life, period. You know what I mean? So preferably, especially what we're talking about, being vulnerable when when things go bad with the co-parenting. Yeah, because people are hurt. Some of these women, they do stuff and they get hurt and they just know they got the kids. So they say, I'm going to use these kids against him.
Right.
I'm going to use these kids for a pawn, and he's going to suffer because I know he loves his kids. So I'm going to make him suffer. So it's a lot of that too. And some men, they're not going to deal with that. And I'm going to say, when it comes down to men, I'm going to say males. Because just because you're a male don't make you a man.
That's true. What makes you a man, chap?
So
What makes you a man, chap?
being vulnerable.
There it is. Right on.
Yeah. Being vulnerable. That makes you're becoming a man. Because these
Not
are the
drinking an
issues
18 pack a day and going to the gym and beating up
Nah,
women. That
that's a
doesn't make you a
boy.
man.
No, that's a boy. Because that's going to cause you problems.
Amen.
And then when you get old enough and you still have those issues, what happened? What have you resolved? Nothing
Guilty.
but problems. Right. So we all have been. But once you tap into the manhood of things, you start seeing things a little differently. You start saying, you know what? Imagine me being hurt, but what about my children hurting right now?
Yeah.
Who cares about their mental health? You know what I mean? Who cares about the woman's mental health? Because I help mess that situation up. So I can't say the hell with you and the kids. I got to say, God, forgive me for dealing with this type of stuff and now leaving. Because really, when I got married, it was for to death do you part.
That's what I thought.
So, right. But at the end of the day, the reality of it is, okay, I'm not going to put up with this crap anymore. I'm going to leave. If I can't get my way, I'm out of here. You do what you need to do. I do what I need to do. And guess what? Who gets slammed in the face? The kids. And the whole family unit is broken.
Right.
And here comes Satan with his suggestions. Oh, yeah. Well, who did this? Why did you say that? Or you should have, Satan comes in your ear with all that other jazz. And then you say, oh, man, and then you're feeling some kind of bad. Now you want to go get a drink.
Yep.
Or now you want to go
do
smoke.
Something to hurt your family. Like,
right. Because that's what you're doing.
Go ahead.
The more you go down, the more you hurt in the family.
Right.
The more you strengthen, the more you get strengthened, even in the situation, the process that happened, the more you can come back and help. But the
I agree
more
with that.
you put
If
yourself
you're working
down,
on yourself, like myself as an example, I'm still doing all the habits that I think will lead to a good life, like my physical, spiritual, mental. Those things
right,
are built into every single day. So even if my day is horrible after those things or before those things always take place no matter what. So even if I have a horrible, horrible day, my wife left me, I just lost a contract or something happened horrible, I still have a way to deal with it. I'll still be sad and pissed off and
right,
upset and all of those things, but I'll have that instead of going to pick up a drink or going to grab a cake or whatever.
right. Because you got a foundation.
Right.
You have a solid foundation, and it's a spiritual with God foundation. But whatever storm comes, a lot of times, and most of the time, not all the time, but most of the time, we create these storms.
Right. Right. They're in
Right,
our
we
head.
create these storms. Right, and then all of a sudden, when it breaks, when everything tears up, it shipwrecks, we place blame
Yep.
either on ourselves or on the next person. We place blame. We don't say, okay, what part did I play? Let me
Or what
try
is
to
this
work
teaching
on
me?
me.
What am I supposed to learn from this?
Right. What lessons can I learn from what took place? Because it's easy to go crawl in the corner and feel bad about yourself. That's very easy to do.
Oh yeah.
It's so easy to a lot of people do it every day. And who's gonna start saying, well, you know what? Man, I know I said some crazy things. Now, it didn't take, that's just giving you an analogy. That's just like somebody getting into debt, right? For 30 years. And then all of a sudden they want God to get them out of debt in a
Yeah.
day.
Yeah.
No, it's not going to happen. It
That
took
don't
a
even make no
while for the
sense.
breakup to happen.
Right.
Yeah, but some people think like that. But it took a while for the breakup. The breakup didn't just happen. It's been a long time coming. So when the split comes between the two people, it's been happening for a long time. It's just been in the head. It's been, oh, well, I'm going to leave him or I'm going to leave her. You know what? Blah, 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 blah. And then all of a sudden, one day, is to say, you know what? I'm done.
Yeah.
That
But
didn't
that type
happen
of thinking
overnight.
that is going to blame God or expect God to fix something like that.
Yeah,
That type of thinking has been over a long period of time of bad decisions, really. A
right,
self-will.
for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. And we constantly blame. We quick to blame, but we don't put the responsibility on ourselves and say, you know what? I messed up. I made some bad decisions.
Mhm.
We go deeper down the rabbit hole and say, you know what? It was her fault. If she would have did this, if she wouldn't have did that, if she would have did, instead of saying, I made this happen. I made this decision. Because here's the deal. Again, God is not gonna when judgment day comes, two people are not going to get judged for the wrong. It's the one person's going to get judged for what they did, not for what the other person did.
Do you
know
know
what I
who
mean?
Jocko Willink
God's
is?
not going to say, well, huh?
Do you know who Jocko Willink is?
Jocko Willink, refresh my memory.
He's like an ex-Navy SEAL, and now he's an author and a content creator. But
Okay.
he wrote this book called Extreme Ownership, and I read it. And the concept of the book is awesome. It's pretty extreme, but it's if I can take responsibility for everything that goes wrong, everything. Like if I can legitimately blame myself for what happened in your bad day, then that puts me in a position to create change, to fix it. You don't have to put the blame on you about everything, but it's a way to take responsibility about everything. It's like, no, that was my fault. What can I do about it now? Like own it real quick. Whatever it is, especially if you're in a situation where someone's going to look to you for guidance. If you own it, then you can at least make a change. And the book is really great. It goes into depth on that, but
right.
It kind of reminded me of what you were talking about.
Right. And I went to a training yesterday, an 8-hour training, mental health first aid. They just started it's been started for a while, but I'm certified. It's called mental health first aid.
What does that
and
entail?
it entails being able to listen attentively, being able to, if somebody's in crisis, being able to identify the crisis that they're in so that way you can be an assistance to them rather than just like I'm a peer support specialist, meaning that we have to learn how to identify the problem. And the problem can be you.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And a lot of times, a lot of times we project. because we don't want to take responsibility.
Right.
You know what I mean? Just like Adam, okay, using Adam again, Adam and Eve. When God came in the garden, he said he was in there garden already. He said, Adam, where are you? He didn't say nothing about Eve. He said, Adam, where are you? Where are you at? Adam was hiding with fig leaves on him and started blaming the woman for everything. But I believe if the man lead by example, then the breakups wouldn't happen so easily. If the man is leading, not the boy, because the boy can't lead. Only a man can lead by example. If you're a boy in a relationship, and I was a boy in 2 of my marriages, I was a boy. I didn't have no business even being married.
Right.
I didn't know what marriage was. I wanted sex and I wanted to feel good. That's not a man. That's not a man. So when I came up against those problems of being a man, I lost it because I wasn't there.
Right. There's an interesting concept. I want to know in the comments, ladies, how do you guys feel about the man being the leader in a relationship? Like, that's traditional. That's biblical, right? The man being the head. But in 2025,
Right.
there's been a lot of powerful women's movement. So I want to know genuinely what you guys think
You know
about
why?
that in the comments. What's that?
Right. You know why it's been that way? Because men, they're boys. They're not, listen, a woman, like when we are young, right? Whenever you played house before when you was young, right? Have you?
Yeah.
Okay, so check this out. I played house too. And the woman, most of the time, when they have the baby dolls and stuff, they want to have a baby and be married.
Yeah.
We're not thinking about that. We're not thinking about that. We're like, man, I'm married.
The women are also teaching that to themselves. They can't not do that. You know what I mean? They're training immediately as soon as the baby's born. Every woman is training another mother as soon as the baby, you have to.
Yeah, but the way women think, the way they do things, you know what I'm saying? They multitask. A lot of men can't multitask.
Mm-mm.
You know what I'm saying? Women do that. And you like, wow, women can do this, that, and the third. I watch women, how they move. So it's not a lot of men that can really multitask, man, to do 3 and 4 or 5 things.
Know that.
I can too.
So can
I can too, but I'm just saying that's a lot of things that's going on in these relationships that we have. So that's why women are running circles around men. But I would like to challenge the women too. If you're really a mature woman, then you're supposed to help that man grow, not put that man down.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe
I can hear the
because
women
it's
right now
lack
saying,
of
they're like,
education.
well, you don't make enough money. You never take the trash out. You didn't do this. You didn't do that.
Yeah,
I can hear that in my head right now. Sorry, ladies. I hear it.
Just like I hear women, just like I hear women saying, "Oh man, I want a 6-figure man. I want a 7-figure man. I want a rich man." Okay, he'll never be around.
You got to go.
So you won't have a man anyway. You'll have the money. You'll have the money, but you won't have the man.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So, but back to being vulnerable between co-parenting when things go bad. Don't wait till it go bad. See, that's the deal. We wait till stuff hit the fan, and then we're trying to figure this thing out. Instead of figuring out what's happening, why is this happening? As soon as something come up, have a conversation. And in most relationships, people are communicating to reply, not to apply.
Yeah. People listen to talk.
You got that? Right. The communication level is, oh, I need to reply, but they don't want to apply what you said. So that's a problem too in the relationship. So that's why co-parenting, when it breaks up, when things go wrong, that's why all hell broke loose, because it's been hell for a long time.
Well, the only way to get to affect actual change is to help those parents before they split up, right? How do we get to those people? Because it seems to me the only time you're gonna need to be vulnerable is in the aftermath, after everything has already gone bad. So we need to get
right, and that's where the problem
in the beginning, right?
And that's where the problem lies, because we're supposed to be vulnerable from day one. When you say I do, when you enter into the relationship, you're supposed to submit one to another. You know what I mean? Some people are not submitted to each other. They're not. That's where the problem comes in at.
We do our own things, and there's little white lies that go on over time, and those things, they just keep collecting, and they don't matter because you don't want to talk about it. It's been so long, and now you're dishonest, so you have a dishonest relationship. Same for her, right? She's got a bunch of stuff that she's never told you, and there should be an acceptance of those things. Like, you should have your secrets. I should have my secrets. Those are okay to have. but they shouldn't. My secrets are none of your business, and you should respect that, and vice versa. But grow it, like when you're young, there's no way to, you can't understand that concept. Not when you're young, you know. But
even now, man, even what you just said, secrets. It shouldn't be no secrets in a marriage.
right.
Nah, there's only secrets you're supposed to have is when before you got married and you gave it to God, whatever you didn't want to deal with. But when you get with a person, you're supposed to be able to have a conversation with that person. That's your person. But because social media is so prevalent right now, we can talk to anybody that we never even met before.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? We're having conversations with
Beautiful.
people.
We are
People
doing
are
it right now.
giving you
Hit
right.
subscribe, by
People
the
are
way.
giving
Thanks
you
for watching. I do appreciate it.
Yeah, people are talking to you. Hey, girl, leave him. Leave him. He's a buster. You know, you don't deserve him. You deserve a good man. What? You got one already. You just don't know how to deal with him. You don't know how to affirm him. You don't know how to stroke his ego.
Those voices inside of a relationship are so loud, at least in my experience. Like the outside voices that you never really hear, but you can hear them through your partner. Like, you didn't think of that. I know that came from this person. You know, like,
come on, social media, man. We got AI now. We got all these social media platforms, and now see. And here's another deal, man. The reason why everything is going haywire for years, it ain't just started. It started when I was a kid. Okay, people rather go to church and get more from the pastor than they get more from their spouse. People rather go to work. People rather go to work and get more from their coworker than they get from their spouse.
Yeah.
So that creates a lot of problems. See, and one thing about a man, once a man feels that he's second, that's a problem. When you don't put God, see, it's supposed to be God, family, education, business. That's the order of, I believe, the Godhead. God, family, La Familia, that's under God, then education, then business. If the man feels like he's secondary to your mama, secondary to your cousin, secondary to your girlfriend or your coworker, you have a problem already.
Mm-hmm.
Just like if the woman feels like the man are putting the woman second to your mama, to your cousin, to your pastor, and then now you getting third party stuff from your spouse. That's a problem. They may not say nothing right away, but it festers up, and they say, oh, yeah, I see you talking to Leroy all the time, but you don't even talk to me about that.
You all happy when you
see
talking to Jim? What's going on with that? You all smile when I get it.
So it's a tit for tat. It's a battle inside the house. And see,
when you're competing with each other, there's no healthy relationship if you're both trying to one up each other the entire time. And I'm sure we're all guilty of it. I'm guilty.
That's the problem.
Yeah,
that's the problem. We're talking about the problem, and we also have a solution for the problem. The solution for the problem that we're talking about, being vulnerable, that's the solution. That is the solution, being vulnerable to your spouse.
Okay, so I'm a guy going through it. You're giving me advice. Your advice is to be vulnerable. Okay, now I'm in the world. How do I be vulnerable? What if I'm a introvert? I don't like going out. I don't like talking to people. How do I take that advice?
Well, I'm talking about with your partner.
Okay. What if I'm single?
Because once you start practice, but now you are. But I'm saying when you was inside of the relationship, if that was happening on a regular basis, then you probably wouldn't be in a situation now, because what's happening is and sometimes people take kindness for weakness. We know that. But being vulnerable is you're good in your own skin. This is just who you are. You're saying, I'm going to be true to myself. I'm going to be true to myself, so then I can really be true to you.
Yeah.
Because if you're not true to yourself, you can't be true to nobody. That's a lie, whatever you putting out. Because if you can't be honest with yourself, you can't be honest with your mate. There's no way.
When we're in an airplane, if the cabin pressure changes, we put our mask on before we save our children.
Right.
Take care of number one.
Most of us wear masks everywhere we go. We have a church mask. We have a job mask. We have a Walmart mask. We have a Target mask.
We got a roofing mask. We got
and we have a mask at home.
Right.
That's the most deadliest mask of all, because that's where you're supposed to be naked with each other. And when you're wearing a mask at home, do you know what you're doing? You saying no, nobody's supposed to be in our home but us. But how many families got social media all in their home? How many people got so many different vices in their home?
How many families
That's
sit
the
around the
problem.
table every night with children that are all of you are on your phones? We've had that happen before, I'm sure.
Not my house.
Never
Not
once?
my house.
Never once?
Never once.
My man
Because
running a
here's the
strict
deal.
household over there.
Here's the deal. My kids are grown. Plus, I got my granddaughter now. But no, she can't bring her tablet to the table.
There we go.
She cuts that tablet has to be cut off because that's cutting off communication. That's where we're supposed to communicate. Because, see, I was born in the...
That's part of the solution here. Families, that's one thing you guys can do for sure. Make it a rule to have a meeting time with no phones. Have it set time.
And it's not a bad rule.
That's a great
because
rule.
Here's the deal. I'm in the Boys and Girls Club, right? And you know, I challenge them because they're like, oh man, you older, you know, that stuff don't relate to us. I'm dealing with high school kids and middle school kids and high school kids. They're like, oh man. I said, but hold on, let me explain to you something. I was born before you guys. We didn't have social media in the 70s and the 80s. I said we had to be creative. We had to be respectful. We had to come. We couldn't just walk in our parents' houses and walk straight to the kitchen. We had to beeline to the bathroom to wash our hands, that filthy mess off of us before we touch anything in the kitchen. So I said, I'm glad I was raised in those times, but now it's a lot of people that was raised in those times. They don't teach those same values though.
No. Well, because part of that, you have to adapt with the times also. Or your kids get left behind and you look like a weird family. That plays into it. I've thought about
it does. But at the thing, okay, this is where it comes down being the head of your household. That doesn't mean you're domineering. That means there's rules and regulations because you're going to follow the rules and regulations outside of your house. You can't do certain things in school, right? You're going to follow that. You can't do certain things in certain places. You're going to follow that. So why not follow the rules at the house? But if the rules are not implemented,
having clear rules for your family, having everyone understanding what the rules are in the house, that would be another solution.
For sure. And the rules are fair because if you're following the rules, then they can follow the rules.
Right.
And as an adult, you can say, you know what? Hey, I wash my hands before we come to the dinner table. You know what I mean? You need to wash your hands. And if you bring that to kids like that, they will follow suit. But if the other parent is saying, don't take all of that. This ain't 1965. We don't do that no more. That's the split right there. You see what I'm saying? So being vulnerable, you see the man is working hard. You see the man is bringing money home in. The man is doing the best he can. Encourage the man sometimes. They done got away. A lot of that, they done got away from that. There's no affirmations no more too much. There's not that.
We need that, ladies. We do need that. Please, if you love your man,
men need,
show that you support him.
Men want flowers. They want flowers, right?
I like
They want flowers. They want this. They want that. All the men want is peace in their home, man. Yeah. Peace in their home.
I'd agree with
That's
that.
It. You give a man peace. Hold up. You give a man peace and give him a piece of some every now and then. You got a good situation going on.
Watch
Pay
the
attention.
empire I build that woman.
But again, this is not pointing the finger at the woman or the man. This is about the family structure. You know what I mean? This is about the family structure, meaning that woman, man, woman, child. That's what it's about. And society, United States of America is busted right now. It is busted. We have these third world countries, man.
The government is doing great. Everything is going smooth.
Man, the government is never meant for the government to run our families. It was never meant for that. God never set it up like that. You know what I mean? That's what the community is messed up. You know why? There's a root word missing from community, and that's unity. We don't have any unity inside the family. I'm not even talking about outside. I'm talking about inside. There's no unification at all. Everybody's doing their own thing, and the kids run everything and don't pay for nothing. How crazy is that? Universal. They run everything, right? They run everything, but don't own it. And don't own and don't own anything. You see what I'm saying? That's a messed up situation right there. And if we can start there and start saying, okay, two people coming together, right? First of all, two people coming together most of the time is sex. to be honest with you. It's not love. If we could be real honest, it's not love. We ain't coming together for love. We don't know what love is, half of us.
Know
We
you
don't know
well
what
enough
love
to love
is.
you.
Right. You don't know because to get to know a person, you got
What
to
I
live with a
know is
person.
that
That's
that's
it. And I think the sex is good.
cool.
Right. So I think that's the major problem in these relationships. And that's where the vulnerability is not happening because we feel we don't have to be vulnerable. I got the cow. She gave me the milk before I got the cow. Not calling women cows, but I'm just saying I got the
It's a
goods
figure of
before
speech.
she even showed. Huh?
It's not
Yes.
calling
But
you
we
cow.
have a sense of humor too. But
Yeah.
I've been given something that I didn't earn. So now how do you want me to respect it? I'm
Right.
probably going to disrespect it. I'm going to disrespect it because I didn't earn anything to get it, right? And that's the problem. That's the problem.
That is a problem.
And through the podcast that I have, Marketplace Ministries, man, we the segment that we're on is Family Matters. And it's really hitting right now because we're living in some times where family does matter, but it's an issue. It's a big issue with family right now. It's a big issue, man.
Yeah.
And I believe the spirit of Satan is coming after family because it's so close to God.
Mm-hmm.
It's right up under God. He said God, family. He put family first. He put family on the earth. He said multiply, replenish, and subdue the earth. So why is families fighting so much? Because of Satan wants that to happen. He hates family. So he has to try to come in and infiltrate. And so we got these two people that's coming together that's allowing him to infiltrate through circumstances, through situations that we bring. Because remember, Satan has no power. All the power he has is the power of suggestion. And all he has to do is suggest to the weak one in the family, and they're going to carry out his plan. Does that make sense? Man, you got to shut that noise down. Meaning that distraction from the outside, you have to shut that down and pay attention to what's going on the inside with the two people that's together. That means you have to communicate. You have to pay attention to one another, not to everybody. Right. Really. Like the bills. Like nobody wants to talk about the stuff. Huh?
Talk about sex. That's a tough thing to talk about.
Yeah, nobody wants to talk about, what about a woman going through menopause?
Oh yeah.
What about a man what about a man having ED dysfunctions, erectional dysfunctions? Right. See, those are the conversations that we need to have conversation with, but we get besides ourselves and we're like, you know what? I'm just going to shut down. I'm not going to be vocal anymore. And you don't know, Satan is like, yeah, don't talk to him no more because he don't care no more anyway. Pardon me, that was my granddaughter. Went to the movies and all that good stuff, man. Somebody came and picked her up and treated her today, man. And so you was back to saying, how can you find my podcast? It's on, it's Facebook right now. We're on Facebook trying to get on different platforms. Chaplain Anthony James. You can pull up. We're on Wednesday nights, Friday nights, 8 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock Central Time, because my partner, he's from Houston, Texas, and we connected. God set that up. And so we've been doing this stuff for a long time. We actually literally physically going into a podcast situation where we was doing a bunch of lives. We got a lot of video. We got a lot of, and it's really, and we're on Family Matters. And we have a lot of content. We're talking about things such as this, being vulnerable when co-parents, when things go bad. We have a lot of stuff to talk about because the family structure is broken. And so God is really, because I see families are being distorted. Families are being broken. Families are broken up. Even the churches don't know how to deal with the family. You know what I mean? The families are separated right now. And so that's what spearheaded in my heart. I was like, wow, man, because it happened to me. I'm a recipient of that. Going through 2 divorces, man, having split up kids and, mixed families and all that stuff, man. And I said, God, just point me in the right direction. If I can just empower and enlighten and encourage people that's going through what I went through, man, if I can help one, man, let it become a domino effect, and the personal part is me going through Family Matters situation and realizing that regardless of what I go through, family still matters. Yeah. You know what I mean? Regardless of what problems I caused or what problems I didn't cause, when the breakdown comes, most of the time, the man we really get the short end of the stick a lot of times. But a lot of times we put a lot of negative stuff out there. And I'm not, women, it takes two. It takes two to get into it. It takes two to get to say, I'm done. You know what I mean? But me going through what I've been through, it was hurtful. It was embarrassing. You understand? Having to get my kids on the weekends and only spend the weekend with them, and, things like that. And the woman, we don't talk. We had no communication, but once upon a time we was there. We was good for each other. We was doing good. And all of a sudden we allowed things to escalate to, I guess it happened for so long, we didn't pull it back the way we were supposed to. And that's where the split came. And then I used to blame the women. I used to blame the women all the time. Like, man, you did this. Man, if it wasn't for you, da-da-da-da-da. No, and then I didn't look at myself. Yeah. And then I started examining myself, saying, Pat, what part did you play in that? Man, you could have been a little bit humble. You could have been a little bit nicer. You could have even spoke a little decently. I was going off, man, because I was upset. And I'm going to tell you something about this mental health, man. A lot of times, you see, when I was coming up, most people say, trauma, PTSD and all that stuff, PTSD and all that stuff. Man, a lot of this stuff we bring on ourselves, man, because we're dealing with mental anguish and we're dealing with hurt. We're dealing with all this stuff
and ego
that pushes you, right. And all of this stuff can push you into that. You can have a nervous breakdown, you know what I mean? Because stress is a silent killer. And then once upon a time, a lot of men, we don't know how to handle stress because there's some good stress and bad stress. You could be stressed doing a job, but you're doing a good job. But then you can be stressed when you're angry. That's not a healthy stress right there. That's a negative stress that will take you out of here. And so we carry these stresses on and then we can't deal with it. So we project onto the next person, And so that's what brought me to this podcast. Right. But that's what brought me to this podcast because, this is what I do Wednesday. I've been doing this for 7 years now. And I got some followers, but at the end of the day, I don't care about followers. I'm trying to help one person. If I can get through to one person, just like the Bible says, Jesus said, listen, it ain't about the 99 that got away sheep. He's looking for the one. If he can get that one, then that one can cause a domino effect for the other ones. Because it's all about testimonies, because that's what I'm telling right now, my testimony. You know what I'm saying? My testimony is that I made a lot of bad decisions. I don't believe in mistakes. I made bad decisions and didn't know the consequences from my decisions. You know what I mean? The consequences was brutal. I got divorced twice, lost houses, lost some cars, and lost some things. And it wasn't so much about the things, the cars, because I could get that back. But you can't get you can lose your sanity and go crazy if you're not careful. No, you can lose your way. Right. That's crazy. Right. No, but here's the deal. And if I can speak to my younger self, this is what I would tell my younger self. Don't get into no relationship as a boy. Because I did not expect I'm going to say I didn't expect or respect what was happening. I had no respect for it because I didn't understand love. I just went in with infatuations. I went in with serious. I said, oh, I just want to be with a woman. Oh, the sex feels good. Oh, she's nice to me. Oh, we go out to dinner. Oh, we go, man. It was so much more than that. You know what I mean? Because there's always the good and the bad in this situation. You're going to have some storms that come along, even when you're doing good. Are you ready for those storms that may come from a person that you don't even know? You bringing storms in yourself and don't even know it because you have a lack of understanding about love. So we're playing Russian roulette. If I could tell my younger self that, don't get into a relationship with no woman. Because most of them are more advanced than we are. Some of them are girls, but a lot of them are women. And they understand what they need. But the man, when you come in as a man, you know how to deal with things. But you come in as a boy, man, it's gonna be hell to pay. And so that's what I would tell my younger self. Don't get with no female until you become mature in that area. And that's what needs to be taught. Because right now, man, the ages are getting younger and younger. You see these babies walking around holding hands, kissing and doing all that, man.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's kind of distasteful. It's kind of shameful to see that, man, because I know where they're headed. They're headed for a crash and they might burn. You see what I'm saying? So it upsets me when I see that. I'm like, wow, man, I know what I've been through. And it's not just based on me. It's based on the inability to love someone because you can't even love yourself yet. You don't even know how to love yourself. So how can you love another? You can't. You can't. So I really hope that helps somebody tonight. You know what I mean? Go ahead, Chris. Right. It's called Family Matters. It's really, my podcast is Chaplain Anthony James. It's just Family Matters. That's a segment that we on right now. And find it. Get connected. And it's really called, I caught a brain cramp. It's Marketplace Ministries. Marketplace Ministries. Yes, Marketplace Ministries. That's my podcast. That's the name of it. Anthony James. You'll find me on Facebook for now. And then we're going to be on different platforms. But the topic that we're on, and we're going to probably stay on there for a while, is Family Matters. All right?